and join the hashtag. Hashtag is 3FM Sunrise. And share a comment or a thought, and we'll share it with the rest of the wonderful world. Later in the show, music legend Rex Omar will be in the seat, and we will have a conversation. A salad of issues will come up. We'll talk about family, music, politics, and life and living it. How he is harmonizing music with politics. What's changing the beat for him? We'll get a symphony of all the sounds you've been looking forward to. But ahead of that, we want to have a conversation about a Supreme Court decision yesterday regarding the guidelines that the FDA had put forth that celebrities and popular persons cannot engage or endorse in alcoholic or boozy ads. Well, the Supreme Court upheld that the FDA did no wrong, and so the suit filed by manager for Reggie and Bowley was thrown out. And the FDS has been speaking. We'll have that conversation with them. The head of legal will join us, lawyer Benny. We'll also have Daddy Bosco. He's the head of communications and special project of Musicians Association of Ghana. George Quay is the president of the Art and Tourism Writers Association of Ghana. And Oscar Provençal is a veteran actor with a velvety voice that you love to hear. But first, let's go through the guidelines relative to alcoholic advertisement. Helen Apiampofo. Helen, you guide us through that.
All right.
What does the document say?
All right, so the document says this: specific requirements for alcoholic beverages. Now, in addition to general requirements for the advertisement of foods, these requirements apply to alcoholic beverages. Now, the advertisement shall contain health warnings as follows. A, drink responsibly. B, not for sale to persons under 18 years of age. C, not recommended for pregnant women. D, any other health warnings that may be prescribed by the authority. Conventional symbols with the same meaning are allowed for the above. And health warnings when shown on television, print, and social media shall be legible. So those are specific requirements for alcoholic beverages. So specifications. The minimum specifications for these health warnings are as follows. A, the health warnings must be placed at the bottom of the advertisement and must not be less than 30% of the biggest font size. B, the health warnings are to run as crawls for television and social media advertisement. C, the health warnings should run for the entire duration of the TV and social media advertisement. D, where health warnings are read on TV and radio media, they shall be clear, audible, and well paced. Then it goes on to say the following: all alcoholic retail outlets shall display health warnings on its premises. An advertisement shall not promote or depict excessive consumption of alcohol. Radio and television advertisements shall not be aired between the hours of 6 a.m. and 8 p.m. An advertisement shall not imply that consumption of alcoholic beverage is required for, and they specify the following: A, social or professional achievement. B, personal success. C, any sporting activity. D, sexual prowess. E, pleasure. F, resolution of social, physical, or personal problems. G, appetite. No advertisement shall enhance or promote vices, general misconduct, or be offensive to public policy. Advertising shall not associate consumption to any activity which requires care and skill or elements of physical danger, for example, sports, recreation, crafts, and hobbies. A character in alcoholic beverage advertisement must not be shown in a control of motorized equipment after consumption. And finally, no well-known personality or professional shall be used in alcoholic beverage advertising.
And that's what is bringing up all the issues. We'll work in the phone line to get the head of the legal department of the FDA, lawyer Benny, to join us in the conversation. But legendary actor Oscar Provençal is already seated. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Johnny.
Good to see you one more time. How are you doing?
Very well, my brother.
Great. Now, this is what the FDA intended. Somebody went to court to challenge it. The court has upheld what the regulator, FDA, first intentioned. Your initial thoughts, how does that sound to you as a player within the space?
Well, I find it exceedingly disappointing. I'm choosing my words very carefully today. And because one really has to look at the context. And I do appreciate the fact that one has to have a balance in regarding alcohol advertising and the protection of minors.
Right.
But I've listened to what Helen has just read.
Guidelines as the
and virtually, I think that universally, if you in the UK, in the States, and Canada, you will find out that most of these articles are about the same.
Right.
There are very few countries that have banned the outright use of celebrities, and very few. Either they're Islamic countries or countries that are known to be exceedingly radical. However, what they do is they regulate it.
Right.
An outright ban, number one, we all must remember that at the heart of everything, you're dealing with human beings.
Right.
You're dealing with the rights of human beings to earn an income. You're dealing with the rights of human beings not to be discriminated against in line with our Constitution.
Right.
You're dealing with the rights of artists in line with the Berne Convention, for which Ghana was one of the first signatories.
That's right.
Which gives the right to artists for them to enjoy all their rights, including their moral rights, their economic rights, rights of reproduction. So the moment you take it away from them, you're directly impacting negatively on the livelihoods of a particular class of people.
Right.
Who, unfortunately for them, have been tagged with a celebrity well-known status, which is a human construct. And as we have progressed to the digital world today, it negates everything. When a video can go viral, an ad can go viral in a second, reach out to billions of people.
That's correct.
A completely unknown human being within seconds attains celebrity status. So now you have to balance all of these contexts in place. But most importantly, in this digital age, we are dealing with data. We are dealing with evidence.
Right.
So when I hear the Supreme Court or FDA is, mandated to do this and has a ruling, I'm expecting that, for instance, the Supreme Court, we haven't heard their reasons in full yet.
Right.
But it must be backed with verifiable, irrefutable data that there's a correlation between I as a celebrity advertising an alcoholic drink, and that correlation must meet, whether I have impacted on minors or the increased consumption
Of alcohol.
I'm
looking forward to...
You have to look at the full context of everything.
I'm looking forward to reading the full judgment from the court to first of all, even understand how a well-known person, because the terminology is, the operational words are celebrity and then a well-known person. How the Supreme Court define a well-known person in that particular context.
And once again, who is a celebrity? Do not, for one, put us in a box and think it's about entertainment people. You're going to call, there have been lawyers who are on TV today, every day. They have become celebrity lawyers. O.J. Simpson's lawyer became a celebrity overnight, because he was on TV every day. You have celebrity artists, you have celebrity politicians who are on air. They may not consider themselves celebrity because we have a general perception of the word celebrity being limited to creative people. But so therefore, what are the real ingredients of celebrity? And even though the human construct, societal construct does not define them as celebrities, they really are celebrities.
Right.
So you're dealing with a much broader concept than you're dealing with just entertainment people. You are denying the access for not only well-known or celebrity status people, those who are not who are celebrities but not constructed to be celebrities. Right. And of course, the young people who aspire to become, and attain the status of celebrity in its traditional form.
Great. The dictionary defines a celebrity as a famous person, especially in an entertainment or sports, or the state of being well known. So these are the two key definitions that we have in the dictionary. A state of being well known, which would speak to your definition or extended definition of politicians and lawyers and judges and whatever, plumbers. There could be a very popular
are we only well known
celebrated carpenter, who everybody wants to work with. I mean,
Thank you.
Celebrity within his suburb.
Your community.
So George Quay is joining us. He is the president of the Art and Tourism Writers Association of Ghana. He's also a producer of many sorts, and he is an events person. If you want to, zero in much more on what he does. He also does PR, right, for most of these big brands. George, good morning. How are you doing?
I am very well, my brother, and big salutes to our legends in the studio.
Great.
Oscar Provençal is one of the reasons some of us started doing voiceovers, so it's an honor to hear his very rich voice.
I'm humbled.
Great. George, you as president of the Art and Tourism Writers Association of Ghana, what are your initial sentiments about this whole decision by the Supreme Court backing the guidelines that the FDA put out there?
We respect the Supreme Court. They are the custodians of our law. We respect them, but we do not agree with them, respectfully.
And what's your point of disagreement?
Good. Like my big boss, big brother and friend Oscar was saying a minute ago, who defines who a popular person is? Johnny, do you know Tana Adelana?
Right.
You know Tana Adelana, you know her very well?
Yes. I have, yes.
Okay.
3FM,
let us bring the context let us bring it to Ghana. If you brought Tana Adelana to Ghana, and match Tana Adelana again, say someone like, let me even use, say, Cookie, who is also a janitor. Well, let me use an actor, because Tana Adelana is also in that space.
Right.
Let me use, say, Mata Nkoma. If you brought Tana Adelana to Ghana and match Tana Adelana with Mata Nkoma in Ghana, who is most likely to be better known? Johnny?
That's a tricky one. Go ahead, make your point.
No, it's not a tricky one.
Make your point, please.
In Ghana, in Ghana, naturally, it would be Mata Nkoma. Because
That's right.
Tana Adelana is not as popular as Rita Dominic in Ghana. So Tana Adelana might not match Mata Nkoma when it comes to popularity or visibility in Ghana. However, take it to the continent of Africa and let us match the same two. Tana Adelana versus Mata Nkoma. And you realize that Mata will probably not come anywhere near Tana Adelana. So then, it begs the question, how many people should follow you for you to be called a celebrity? What kind of influence must you have made on society for you to be called a well-known person? Who defines it? Where does the definition begin? Where does it end? What must you have done? How many stars should you have on your shoulder? How many edifices should have been named after you? How many streets should have been named after you? What makes one qualified? Is Johnny Hughes probably more popular than Oscar Provençal? What are the following? What are the numbers on social media? What are we using to define it? So a couple of people go sit in a room and decide that these people have influence. So let's ensure that they do not work when it comes to this sector of work. What empirical scientific evidence did the FDA stand on to even announce or even issue that directive as far back as 2016? Where's the evidence? What did they say? What research did they do? Ochamo Kwame is selling houses for a certain real estate company. Based on that assertion, the houses should be finished by now. There shouldn't be none. If I'm looking for one to buy today, because he is very popular, he's very well known, he influences, and whatever he influences, because he influences, people rush and go and do it. I mean, this is very unfair.
I see.
Let us be honest. You can ask yourself and ask your panel members. Your first exposure to alcohol,
right?
Did it come from radio or TV? My first exposure from alcohol came from home.
Right.
When my parents get visitors, my parents would send me to go and buy the drinks for the visitors. My dad would not have his dinner at night without having a shot of Campari. I was the one who would go and bring the Campari from the bar.
Right.
Homes have bars in there. My mom would not have a Sunday fufu without a bottle of beer. That I'm not saying they were irresponsible. They are not. I still do not drink.
I see.
I
Well,
don't drink. I don't smoke.
George, let's bring in Lawyer Benny of the FDA. Sorry, we lost him because I wanted you to, and he's been coming in and going off. I think it's technology there, but I wanted him to first of all answer these nagging questions that you have. I mean, the basis for which they decided. You have asked for data. Oscar Provençal has asked for data. I know Daddy Bosco will ask for data as well. And it's instructive to know that throughout all the conversation, that data conversation has not come to the fore, except to suggest that because the people that some of you manage and produce and actually superintend over and work in collaboration with will have an impact on the children, and therefore this guideline is important. Do you think that the FDA has been fair?
The FDA has not been fair because from the outset, I would have hoped that the FDA would even engage these so-called people of fame from the beginning. That's
Okay.
not a conversation. And the same thing, Gaming Commission also got up and just banned them. Nobody would sit to engage. Nobody would want to talk to you. Nobody would understand who you are, what you do. For all you know, if the FDA had engaged from the start, we could even have found more creative ways to actually help protect the children.
George, the lawyer is on the phone now. I understand he has to go to court. So let's quickly engage. Counsel, good morning. Thank you very much for your time.
Good morning, sir.
Great. Counsel, why did you find it necessary to institute these guidelines to prevent celebrities and well-known persons from engaging in alcoholic endorsement or advertisements?
Okay, thanks for the opportunity. Let me start from the point of saying that
92.7.
we all recognize that alcohol has a negative impact on health. It's a fact. We can't run away from that. And again, we also know that advertisement has an impact on consumption of alcohol. Also a fact that we cannot run away from it, though we ask about it. So putting these two things together, we want to get to a situation where we are not encouraging the youth and the minors to take to excessive consumption of alcohol. We also know that well-known personalities have a good impact or influence on the youth, the minors, and society in general. So we are adding all this together. Their role in advertising alcohol will ultimately contribute to increased consumption of alcohol to the detriment of the health of the people. So we are saying that of all products, let's stay out of advertising or endorsing alcoholic beverages in the interest of public health and safety.
Did you have data to back this claim that because an Oscar Provençal, a George Quay, a Nash Shoko, Bellamundi, Johnny Hughes Kukiti, a Sarkodie, a Stoneboy, any of these persons who would call celebrities or well-known people have engaged in either one alcoholic advert or the other that has influenced the children? Did you have empirical data to that effect?
There is enough information, there is enough data, not only from Ghana, not only from Africa, but the world at large. WHO has a huge data and information on that.
3FM 92.
And it is all over there. Anybody can look out for it. The impact that well-known personalities have on consumption of alcohol through advertisement is a known fact. And that is what we presented.
What's your definition
if
of...
anybody is interested, we can repeat it.
Right. We would appreciate that. Now, what's your definition, operational definition of a well-known person?
If you get into the guidelines, we said well-known personalities are persons in society that have influence, huge influence and impact on society. And we give examples. We talk of pastors, we talk of priests, we talk of athletes, we talk of artists, etc. People within that space that have a huge influence on society.
Right.
What they say, what they do, or what they do not even do, have an impact in society. Those are the people we are talking about.
The media is a very powerful tool, agree.
Yes.
But then if, say, I pick Babana here, who works with us, who is not popular as much as I am, and we treat him like the Michael Parr scenario, and we put him on air every day advertising a brand that's alcoholic, and then over time he becomes popular. Would you say that then at the point where he becomes popular, the apogee, he has to truncate and terminate so he doesn't advertise anymore? I don't get it.
If you can, we are saying that somebody who is not well known starts advertising, and over time it becomes.
Yes, it becomes popular. What happens?
He or she needs to advise himself and get out of that space before we get him out of that space. Look, I was trying to give an example that is not really. If you have a child who is not a medical officer, tries to do his things like a medical officer in a house and things like that, nobody recognizes him as a medical officer, so he can do those things. But when he gets into that space and becomes a medical officer, we all recognize that he's a medical officer and he must play by the rules of a medical officer.
So I'm a bit confused at this point. So who can now advertise or endorse alcoholic beverages? If I am the one you're talking about, and I say I'm not popular, I'm not a celebrity, I'm not well known, I can go ahead and do that. Yes.
Yes, but when you enter into the space where you can be defined as well known, where you can be described as well known, then you need to get out of that space.
And in whose mouth lies that definition?
It's like, let me give you an example. You give an example yourself. Nobody knows me. If you mention my name, Joseph Benny, nobody knows me anyway. But if I get somebody whose name I will not mention, just now, even a 5-year-old can describe that person, the way the person talks, the way the person walks, that is a word. So it is very obvious. You don't need any formula to describe a well-known personality in this country. Meanwhile, in one space, they want to be described as celebrities. In another space, because of advertisements, you wouldn't want to be described as a celebrity. I don't know. I'm just saying it. But I'm saying that when you pick a person and you mention a person's name,
right,
and the person is a well-known personality, you don't need anybody to tell you that this is a well-known person.
Is the
FDA, Joseph Benny anywhere, nobody knows me.
Is the FDA trying to take food out of the mouth of these people who ply their trade within that space? I mean, they are Oscar Provinscal does voiceovers, George Quay saying.
FDA regulates thousands of products. We are talking of one. So how would this take a food out of somebody's mouth? One out of the thousands of products that the FDA regulates, and we are talking of only one. And that one, we are talking about it in the interest of public health and safety.
So, can I, for example, be a popular person in Ghana, go to Nigeria, shoot a commercial or do a voiceover which is for the Nigerian population, and then for some reason the agency decides that they're going to upload it onto YouTube, and that YouTube is accessible to the citizens of Ghana, including the young people that you want to protect or you claim to be protecting. How would you tackle this, given the guidelines that you have?
Yes, these are challenges that we will deal with. So, and it's accessible to this.
I can hear you. Your line is cracking, so I can't hear you.
Sorry.
Yes, sir.
I'm saying it is one of the challenges we will have to deal with. Yes, it has been uploaded, available to people of this country. We will need to look at the implications and deal with. We've also heard about what people say, like other feeds from DSTV and things like that. We've heard about those things. These are challenges that we will tackle as we go along. We will handle them appropriately and deal with them appropriately. But we want to encourage everybody who loves the people of Ghana, who loves the health of the people of Ghana, to see eye to eye with us and try to avoid such things.
I'm still trying to understand you, because as a boy, and I'm sure George Quay would also remember, we used to watch ABC, You and Me. It didn't influence us to drink alcohol as children. So
it
now
didn't influence you, it influenced others. it would have influenced others.
Others that you know, and that's why I'm asking for empirical data,
yeah.
because no space for hypothesis when people's livelihood and their rights and their talents are at stake. So there's no space for hypothesis. It's the actualities that we want to talk about. And I'm saying that I know a lot of us as young people who watched.
You were not influenced. But are you saying that nobody was influenced?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you have taken a decision. And I'm saying this day and age, the decision you took must be based on facts and figures,
And I've
science
told
and
you
data.
those facts are available. I've told you those studies have been done and they are available. They are available. The impact of celebrities during alcohol adverts and their impact on alcohol consumption is a known fact. Research has been done severally on this, and these also are available, my neighbor. They are available. We are not speaking out of nothing. No. We are not just speaking out of nothing. We have the facts, we have them. Research has been done, and the results are out there.
So what happens to the giant billboards? I'm driving my children to school, and then we stop at the traffic light. Until recently, there was a giant one at the Nima police station area, and each time we drive by, Brimpon would ask me a question. What happens to those ones? You see them all over the country. Those giant billboards, the kids see them anyway. They will be influenced, if that's the analogy, that once they see it and they hear it, they will be influenced. What happens to them?
You see, we are not saying the prohibition of well-known celebrities from advertising alcohol solves all the issues concerning with alcohol consumption. Parental guidance is very important. It's also necessary. The time that we do the advertisement is necessary. There is a current LI that is coming after, which is telling who sells alcohol, who doesn't sell alcohol, who buys alcohol, at what age, the minimum volume. So it is a multi-pronged approach that we have taken. And this is one of them. So parental control is very necessary. When you are with your child in a car and your child sees an advert like that, it behoves you as a parent to guide the child in taking a decision.
Well, but
implement what FDA is doing.
Benny, your guidelines, 3.26, section 3.26 of your guidelines talks about the fact that radio and TV ads should be between the hours of 8 after 8 p.m. Now, children don't roam around after 8 p.m. They go to school, by this morning up till like maybe 4, 5, and then they come back home. I'm talking about the time when your guideline says no alcoholic adverts, but these billboards are there. Are we now going to, because of this, if the celebrities also say, okay, then you have to cover the billboards during the day so their children also don't see, and then at night you can come and uncover them? What would you do?
That is what I said, that the guideline, the prohibition does not serve as one tool that solves all the problems. Yes, the billboard issue is an issue that we are considering. Yes, we'll look at it again and see what best can be done. But I'm urging parents that you also encourage your children, when you see those adverts, just encourage them that, yes, this is not what we want you to do. These are things that we don't want you to get yourself into. So it's a multi-pronged approach. We are craving the indulgence and collaboration of other states, institutions, and other persons to help us fight this battle. It is not a battle for ABE alone. Public health and safety is not just an ABE issue. It's a national issue. Let's all get involved.
Did the FDA, as a regulator, in fact, hold stakeholder engagement with all these bodies? George Quay Atwag, president for Art and Tourism Writers Association, said nothing of that sort happened. Advertisers Association of Ghana, I'm not sure that conversation happened. Did you find time to consult them before you brought out these guidelines?
This guideline was published way back as 2015, if you look at it.
All right.
So George Quay might not be in that place at that time.
Oh, George Quay.
A lot of
No, Mr. Benny, George Quay.
You see, I'm not a celebrity.
No, so you mentioned his name. That's why I'm
yes. So Lawyer Benny.
You mentioned the name.
Lawyer Benny. So George Quay has been in this space for a very long time. I mean, he was for a long time the mouthpiece of Charterhouse that produced major events in this country. He does voiceovers, and I mean, he's a man of many parts. So,
but at that time when those people were being considered, he might not be in the space for that discussion. I don't know. I'm not saying for
somebody
but
who
I'm saying
does.
that maybe he was not in that space.
Did you have? Okay, so sorry, sir. 1 minute, sir.
Did not do that.
1 minute, sir.
We did not do that. We can still go ahead and engage as at now. We have a decision. We have a guideline. We can still engage moving forward to ensure that all aspects of this are dealt with and dealt with very well.
Council, which would have been better, the consultation before the implementation, or the
I'm
implementation?
not saying consultations were not done. I'm saying that the George Quays of today might not be there at that time, and so those who were consulted might not include George Quays of today. So we are saying that consultations definitely would have been done, but if some stakeholders were not involved, we are saying that we can still go ahead and engage them as of now. So I'm not saying consultations were not done. Maybe some stakeholders were not involved at that time, but now we can.
Can we go back to the billboards and the fact that when your kids see it, you should take the responsibility to guide them? So if they see an ad or hear one or see an artwork as well, you are suggesting, you are suggesting that if my child, for example, sees a billboard while I'm driving him or her to school, it behoves on me to guide that child to say alcohol is not good, da 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 da. If my child also then sees an advert, it behoves on me to guide my child and say that no, this is not right, so don't engage, just don't watch it. We could have done that, no?
Yes. So it's like saying that. Let me put it simply. There are rules and there are exceptions to rules. So take this as an exception to the rule, but the rule must be there. That's how I can put it. The rule must be there, but there can be exceptions to the rule. So there's those exceptions that we are urging every other person to help us address until we're able to deal with the billboard issue. We are saying that other stakeholders, other partners in the space should assist us to deal with it. But there definitely should be rules. And definitely there are exceptions to rules.
Okay, so I have two panelists, Mr. Oscar Provençal and George Quay. I'll give them opportunity for maybe two questions, and then Council we can let you go. I'll start with you, Mr. Provençal.
Yeah, forgive me, but I feel a little bit scandalized by the statement that well-meaning Ghanaians who love Ghana should support the FDA. It presumes that those of us who do not agree with what the FDA do not love Ghana. I can assure you, we wouldn't be in our spaces and be who we are if we didn't love Ghana and we didn't make the impact that we've made on this country. So I think that it looks like many, especially in the legal fraternity and outside the legal fraternity, do not even understand the creative space. When you talk about even issues regarding intellectual property, I don't think that there are many lawyers in this country who understand the issues regarding, And so I think that having that consultation is critical, because once you're taking out income from somebody, it doesn't matter if there are 1,000 items, but it's only one. What happens if that's the one thing that they survive on, that they hold on?
Okay.
I mean, our perception of lawyers and the judiciary and whatever in this country, I'm sure there are studies on them.
So your question...
But what I'm saying is that if it's based on facts, should we say we should ban lawyers?
Okay, so I'm sure that the question that you want to ask, you asked actually, is that what if that's the only one thing? Alcoholic advertisement is the only one thing that celebrity is holding on to feed and to take care of themselves.
But then it even goes beyond that.
Okay, I want lawyer to answer that first, and then Council. So that's your question.
You see, I let me say that one. It started from a point where you made reference to the fact that I said people who love Ghana. I'm not by implication saying that celebrities do not love Ghana.
Okay.
I'm calling on people, all persons in this country to assist and help everybody to implement it. It is not about celebrities not loving Ghana. If that is the way it sounded to him.
Right.
But again, if you look at the issue as to just one thing, I don't want to sound too But if you look at the health of the people, and that one thing will support a healthy population, taking people out of that stage, would that not be for the benefit of? I am not saying there's a particular person, I don't want to mention the name, but that guy has moved away from advertising alcohol and is advertising other products on air, and I think that guy is doing so well. He's moved away from advertising alcohol. It doesn't mean when you stop advertising alcohol, you will not get any other things to advertise. And again, when you say lawyers do not understand intellectual property, I wonder which other people do understand.
Okay.
If lawyers do not understand IP issues, then I wonder which class of people in this country best understand IP.
I hear you. George, your question.
I don't know what else.
Oh, Johnny, I don't really have a question. I mean, it's clear that there has been a prejudice against, quote unquote, who popular people are at the very beginning. I am dead sure there were no consultations. And clearly, you understand that there are people that worked on this that do not even know our space. Because 2016, George Kuro was very much here. I mean, we started from 1998, very popular on TV, all the way till about 2002, went into a lot of other things. 2016, we're producing VGMAs and stuff like that. And clearly, he doesn't even know that. It is okay. I'm happy that he himself has admitted there can still be opportunities to engage. We'll look forward to some of that engagement.
I wouldn't let this pass, Johnny. No.
Yes.
I didn't say I didn't know. And I didn't say FDA didn't know. I'm saying that this law was passed in 2012. I mentioned specifically that
George Query.
Where the might not be around. I didn't say FDA didn't know. Please don't.
So totally understood. Fair enough.
Okay.
Like I'm
Okay.
saying,
Thank you.
understood.
Thank you for that intervention. George, go ahead.
I am happy that he has agreed that there can be, conversations around this. Because I still insist none was done at the beginning. Because if some consultations were done, if indeed some were done, then those that represented our sector did us in. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. Because there are more smarter ways to approach this. And I'm saying again that, Johnny, the things the kids are consuming today are not things that we even have on our shelves to advertise.
Right.
And if the FDA would do some digging, they would realize when you attend these kids' parties, when you attend their hangouts, their get-togethers and stuff, and you see the things that we do activations, and we see them. Sometimes a company is doing sampling and activation. The kids come and watch your sampling, they don't even want it. It is too little for them. And trust me, the drinks and stuff that we sell here, they are not interested. Where they get them from, I do not know. But if the FDA would do some deep search and do some proper work, you realize that these so-called people you call popular, which we all cannot define, are not the ones that are influencing the kids negatively. They are actually people that you can use to help pull the kids off some of these illicit substances they are consuming today. So instead of fighting us or making us feel like you are taking food out of our mouth and stuff like that, I think we should rather find a way to get together to save our children.
George,
again, like I said, my exposure to alcohol did not come from television or radio. It came from home. And trust me, if you speak to kids, if they have done any deep research, you would realize that kids' exposure to alcohol is not really from TV. It starts from home for a lot of these kids. So that is where we ought to look first.
George, would you be willing to sit around the table as the head of a grouping and also as a player within the space?
I don't have to be the head. I just have to be at that table. I would love to be at that table.
Right.
And as I indicated, I did write to the FDA when we saw this thing. I think around 2018, Image Group, they sent the FDA a letter asking for conversations around this. But of course, nobody even bothered to respond to that letter.
I see.
So we are willing to have a conversation around it.
Okay, that's great. Council, any comments? And Oscar has another question for you, but any comments quickly?
No, let me take that one and add to.
Okay. Oscar, go ahead, please.
Yes, Council. It's very important for us to have a correlation between increased consumption perceived by the advertising of alcohol by well-known people. I mean, there's always been this discussion about, and I'm going outside of the realm, what has been the impact of TV on individuals? There's, in respect to violent crime, in sexual behavior, there's always going to have to be a study that there is a correlation. at this present moment, I do not believe, and I don't think the World Health Organization, who basically.
Hello.
One second. This is yeah.
Okay, sorry.
This is Ghana. This is Ghana. The standards that World Health Organization upholds is different. It may be totally different. Britain has a problem with binge.
I think we lost the lawyer on the phone line, so let's try and raise him back on the phone line. But he has raised a critical point that, look, we can still have an opportunity to have some conversations. What do you say to that?
Well, obviously, I mean, once the window of opportunity is there, but it clearly means that this was not really well thought out. We also have to take into consideration that when we're talking about adverts, there's a variety of different types of adverts.
Right.
It's not just broadcast adverts. You have offline adverts. You have online adverts. You have all kinds of different types of adverts.
Right.
And so you can't just have a one fix definition of it. And so there are key words in there that really have to be defined. And I agree with George.
Right.
I mean, I did a club beer advert.
I remember that.
Yes, great taste, good times.
Right.
It's your beer. I did not drink beer at the time, but I did the advert. Well, maybe I drink beer now, but I do not ascribe it to that advert.
Okay.
And when we're talking,
and this was many years apart.
Many years apart. And so when you're talking about making impact negatively on minors, then I'm going to say this. When we talk about health, what are we talking about? Because if you look at the consumption of sugar products in this country, soft drinks, sugar drinks, to minors, that is causing more health problems than I believe more health problems. And I'm sure I don't have the data, but if I go by the perception that I'm getting that, we're into unknown territory and therefore we can just act on perceptions, then my observations are we have a major health problem
in that
with diabetes and all kinds of sugar-related issues that are coming up, and it is the same celebrities that are selling and advertising those products.
Daddy Bosco is the head of communications and special projects of the Musicians Association of Ghana. Lion King, good morning. How are you? Hello, Daddy Bosco. Good morning. Council, are you here with me? Good morning.
I'm here.
Great.
I'm here.
So Council, that's the comment that Oscar Provincial has made. Thankfully, George Quay and legendary actor and voiceover artist Oscar Provincial believe that we need to come to the table again, but they disagree with you that the consultations, if at all, were enough, and all of that. What's the way forward? Where do we go from here?
Like I indicated, our doors are always open. We encourage discussions and consultations to move on. Our interest is to protect public health, and we'll partner anyone who wants to deal with us. We have artists who are partners to come out with videos and songs on tobacco and tobacco products, tramadol, and then they are out there. They are getting, what do you call it, popular guys. And they are all there. We are partnering. So our doors are open. Want discussions and consultations to ensure that the space is even better managed and better handled presently. But let me quickly add the issue you raised about sugar. Yes, it's something that is being tackled head on. If you have observed, we've stopped people from advertising food and sugar beverages together. If you haven't seen it, please look out for it. And it is a reason for it. So there is a department, there's a category handling that particular aspect.
Okay.
Sugar and its impact on the health of children. NPA is dealing with it. So we are happy about it, and we are working towards it, and we'll get there. So there's a project handling that aspect of it. FDA is not unaware of the impact of sugar, excessive sugar consumption on public on health. So we are handling that one as well.
Is there going to be a ban? Is the FDA thinking of a ban as well of celebrities doing those adverts if indeed the FDA is sure that it could cause also public health nuisance or problem for the citizenry?
If it is proven, and mark my word, if it is proven that will have no options.
Your line is breaking, sir. I can't hear you. Sorry.
That if it is proven that is it, we may not have any options. Until then, nobody is stopping anybody from doing advertising any sugar, any sweet beverage.
I thank you very much. Lawyer Joseph Yao Benny, we're grateful that you could speak to us. He's the head of the legal department. Very well, sir. It's the head of the legal department of the FDA. Chief, you have the final word on this one. Helen, as well.
Yes,
You will yield to you first, ladies first, and then he's a gentleman.
You know what? Very interestingly, because Oscar mentioned the issue of sugar, I recall in 2018, the UK passed what we now call the sugar tax, and even that was met with a lot of resistance because it essentially meant that if you were purchasing sugary drinks, you were paying a little bit more.
Right.
And some people said, I can control my sugar intake. If you and your household and your children cannot do same, why do I have to bear the consequence of that? But that aside, I think my biggest takeaway is that there needs to be data. That the World Health Organization has some data out there is simply not enough. Is this tailored to our particular situation? That is the biggest thing. So if that data does exist, I'm very keen and excited to see it. Otherwise, an award or a ruling in this regard appears, in my opinion, a bit weak and maybe perceived as arbitrary, because what data are you using to inform this? And just quickly,
well, he said there's data.
Yes,
so I'll go and drill down and find that data from the FDA.
And it has to not just be data on the world scale, but data that you can attribute to Ghana, so that we can see that because the likes of Mr. Provençal and others have been advertising alcohol, we have seen that a 16% rise in alcohol use of, let's say, senior high school students who also have been sampled and asked questions, and they maybe say that because they saw Oscar advertising beer, they too now drink beer. But also very quickly, what lawyer said about if you see a billboard and your kid has a question, you tell them, okay, well, alcohol is bad, that is what parental control is all about. When your kids are under your care, if there's a celebrity that they love and look up to, you also have to have control over what influence that celebrity has on them, alcohol and otherwise. In the same way that you would educate your child if they see a billboard that this is XYZ, you must take a keen interest in what your kids are exposed to anyways across the board. So that particular example, I don't really buy it. I think more conversation needs to be had.
Yes, Mother Helen. Oscar, you have the final word.
I couldn't agree with her more. And we were talking about influence, and we have influencers now as well as celebrities.
Right.
You know, so the line is very blurred at the moment. And so, you know, what shows that a minor sees this celebrity at his minor age of 10.
Right.
And then by the time he's still a minor at 16, because he's an early adult when he's 18, that celebrity still appeals to him.
That's right.
Who defines that?
They will grow up together.
They will grow up together. So, I mean, people will identify with whoever, but it is not for we or regulators to determine that once you're a celebrity, everybody follows you. Once you're a celebrity, everybody will buy your products or the products that you sell. Once you're a celebrity, you're going to impact negatively on everybody for everything that you do that is alcohol. Do you know that people are drinking Benylin for you?
Right.
Benylin for you is a medicine. It's come to my attention that the youth are drinking that.
Oh, it just got your attention.
Well, it's been happening for a long time.
Drinking it for a long time.
But it's not a construct of alcoholic beverage. It's a pharmaceutical drug.
Great. Oscar Provençal, thank you very much indeed for spending your morning with us. We're grateful also to George Quay, the president of the Arts and Tourism Writers Association of Ghana, and lawyer Yao Benny of the FDA. We'll zoom now straight into the Volta region. It's 9 minutes after 9 o'clock, I should say.